Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. That's my email. Email me for pricing on this Zenith or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Email me for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Launched in late 2014 for the 2015 model year, this is the 150-piece limited edition Zenith Academy Georges Favre Jacot 150th anniversary for 150 years of the manufacture from Lug, Switzerland. This watch exhausts superlatives. 45 millimeters. The watch is thinner than you might expect at 14.7 millimeters, 54 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and 22 millimeters between the lugs. We'll zoom out a little bit and put it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It wears well. It fits. There's no doubt about that, but I wouldn't wear it on a wrist smaller than mine. I think you need a 16 centimeter circumference wrist or up, because from the top you can see it is right out to the edge of my wrist. Though, as I mentioned, it is thinner than you expect. As quite a bit of the thickness is the domed sapphire on top. It has a domed bezel, which means it slides easily underneath a tight sleeve. Taking a look at the hardware and the software, as I like to say, this watch includes a robust strap, large rectangular scale alligator leather, dark brown, matte finish. You can see it features a little bit of bolstering to give it thickness. It has a folded edge and a monotone stitch, and then, as with other modern Zenith straps, on the underside, and this is a brand new Zenith strap, it has a rubber inlay to separate the leather from the moisture, heat, sweat, and grit of the wrist. That allows the strap to wear longer, and the rubber feels phenomenal on the wrist on a hot day. We have a double deployant clasp here in red gold to match the case. You can see it's polished internally, and then externally it has a combination of polish and satin. Handsome detailing, well done. Rolling over to the case, it's more sophisticated than your typical Zenith case construction. You can see that the lugs are only slightly broken out from the case band, but the separation is pronounced. You can see it. It's tangible, and it's a gorgeous transition. Neither a completely integrated Portuguese-style lug nor a stepped longa-style lug. This is a wonderfully original design that blends the lug profile into the case while still allowing it to have a separate sculptural form of its own. The case is entirely hand-polished, and as you can see, beautifully made, with a bezel that slightly undercuts the peaks of the lugs, and that's a little styling trick that watch designers use to give you lovely full-figured flowing lugs, but also to thin out the case. Rather than sticking the bezel on top of the lugs, it cuts down into them and they ride up its side. It's a really good look, and of course it thins out the watch. The bezel is domed, giving way to a domed sapphire. We have the Zenith star on the crown. It is a push-down crown. The watch is 30 meters water resistant. On the dial side, we have a lovely silver frosted dial base with applique rose gold hour indices, fired blue hands, and not just for the time, but also for the power reserve. It is a 50-hour power reserve. Up and down. It is a power reserve with a fusee and chain. The fusee and chain is a late Renaissance innovation that uses variable gearing to allow a diminishing mainspring barrel to continue to apply the same amount of torque to an escapement. So in other words, 575 pieces in this fusee chain, each one of them hand polished, black polished. The barrel, and I'll show you how this works, the barrel draws the chain off the fusee. When you wind the chain from the barrel to the fusee. Now, as the barrel loses its mainspring torque, it gains greater mechanical advantage, and you can see, I believe this is a hyperboloid, a cone-like structure. It will pull a larger diameter of the fusee. So as the barrel loses torque, it pulls a larger diameter, like bicycle gears. That increases the torque. So a diminishing barrel can apply constant torque to the escapement for the entire 50-hour power reserve, and then the stop works halts the movement, so it will stop rather than run imprecisely. This is a glorious system dedicated to chronometry, and in fact, this watch is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, but it achieves that constant force in a visually dramatic fashion that is absolutely breathtaking to behold. Now, the timepiece, of course, features incredible finishing. It is true high horology, something rarely used on Zenith watches, which tend to be a combination of hand finish but mostly machine finish. Now you can see the beveling on the edge of every bridge is mirrored. The same treatment rendered in the screw and jewel sinks. You can see the pivots have been black polished, so the cannon pinion as well as the pivot for the second, black polished on their tops, satination atop the bridges that bear the pivots for the barrel and the fusee. And when you turn the watch over, you can see this watch has a unique movement only ever used for this model. This is the caliber 4810. Now it uses an El Primero 36,000 vibration per hour escapement, but it is manual wind. If you look closely, you can see the escapement is made of silicon, unlubricated, ultra high efficiency, extending the service interval of the watch. The balance beats away at 36,000 vibrations per hour, and as you can see, the watch does advertise constant force thanks to the fusee and chain. It's a 30 joule movement. It's chronometer certified. The movement itself is 37 millimeters across, so this caliber was built specifically for this case size. Zenith is a manufacturer, and it emphasizes that. That is why the movement fits the case. The standard El Primero movement is much smaller than this. This uses nothing but the El Primero's escapement and beat frequency. You could see 1865 to 2015, the signature, Georges Favre Jacot, the founder, then in his 20s of Zenith back in 1865, individually numbered. This is number 68 of 150, and you can see the watch uses true mirrored anglage on the edge of the bridge's glorious Côte de Genève, black polished screw heads and locating pegs. The components that bear the balance as well as the escape wheel are in steel, and they're satinated across their top. And then you have engine turning on the base plate, and again, it never gets old. It is beautifully executed. Everything about this watch, that term, exhausting superlatives. The pictures, for once, speak louder than any words I can share. Reach out to me, Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com, for purchase and pricing details.